MLB season.
Oh yeah.
Spring training's what, the 23rd, 24th, somewhere up, or not spring training, opening day.
Opening day. Yep.
Somewhere later this month, opening day. A lot of hoopla going around, and this is good for us. This is good for the network. This is good for our show.
Yeah.
Because finally, I know you don't want to admit it, but the Mets and Yankees are pretty much on equal footing in terms of.
Oh, I'll more than admit it. I mean, I think like when you look at the when you check out the stats, when you check out the predictions, the percentages, they are neck and neck, with the Yankees being slightly higher. But I'll admit it straight up. I mean, look, the Mets did what they needed to do, and of course, look, building off of a fantastic postseason run, right? I mean, running through Philadelphia, like getting to the NLCS, and really shocking a lot of MLB fandom everywhere. I mean, when you think about it, all they had to do was finish against the Dodgers and we would have another Subway Series. But I mean, shit, we couldn't even win against the Dodgers, so it is what it is. So I'm very excited for this season in terms of what it brings back to New York City. There's always a good rivalry, especially as we go head to head throughout the season during like interleague. But I think the biggest thing I need to do right now is congratulate you and Mets fandom everywhere, because guess what? You fucking did it. You basically won the World Series already. Because I have to tell you, every fucking post I see out there is Juan Soto. He's here. He's delivered. He is the second coming. He may as well just open up his curled up hand and put it in front of the dugout to already at least 3 or 4 rings have to be in there that have the Mets on them, at least the next 3 years, right? Because that's all I'm seeing everywhere. Not to mention, and look, if it doesn't happen, at least you can hang a banner that says he signed with us instead of the Yankees, because that's also a great point of pride that your entire fan base tends to hang their hat on when we haven't even played a regular season game yet. So, I mean, listen, well done, guys. Really, well done. I'm proud of you all. Well, and look, we talked about this with the signing too. All kidding aside, though, when you pay a man $765 million or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Your leash on how long until your entire fan base gets impatient. And I said, you have 2 years, because the bar was set with Shohei after 1 season. Yes. And that's someone who deferred virtually all of his money. Instead, you're paying a man better part of $40 million year over year until he's 41 years old. So, I mean, if there is a legitimate window, it's fucking now. And you made all the right roster moves to have a high potential offense. The only thing you should be concerned about is a rotation, because you may be able to put up runs, but you've got to prevent them too. And I think that's the only thing that when you're looking at the Yankees and the Mets, because as much as we'll miss Juan Soto, I do think, between Bellinger and Goldschmidt, you would hope that the two of them production wise could potentially make up for what one person was doing. At least we've added to the rotation too. So and look, we understand injury and 180 something games and in the long run, but when you look at the Mets, I think the only thing they're missing is just a couple of shutdowns in the rotation.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Juan Soto, the fight for him between the Yankees and the Mets basically came down to FU money, right? Like,
it came down to purely based on money in itself. And look, we heard the rumors of, well, the Yankee staff treat him like this and treat him like that. I don't believe that shit for a second, because if they did,
don't either. I don't like those stories either.
Yeah, he wouldn't have given the Yankees the last opportunity to match the offer, and he made it based off money. But with that being said, I mean, from what I've seen in spring training already, he's on the right track to be the player he is. A lot of guys out there, they get played and you see that the production starts to decline. But I mean, and of course, getting Pete back too in the 11th hour will help him in the lineup as well. So like I said, I mean, this is going to be a great MLB season.
So this started off with Juan Soto, right? Like, basically saying that he thinks the Mets have the best chance to win.
Well, I
You
mean, he's got
know,
to say that now. He's paid to say that, you know?
right? 15-year contract. You kind of have
Yeah.
to say that.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge was like, yeah, I don't know about all that,
Yeah.
and
Also,
like,
the response he has to have, right?
right, and like it wasn't contentious. I don't think it was anything crazy, but it's
No.
clear that there's different ideas about the futures of the teams, right? So
Yeah.
like I think right now, if you look at it on paper, they are pretty close. I don't,
Very.
the wins, the
They're
win
less
loss
than a percent
projections.
difference between their win predictions, their I think championship predictions too,
Mm.
in terms of like overall runs and everything as well. So
I haven't done any deep dive on baseball just yet. I'm
yeah,
still trying to process basketball, even though my team is the season's over. I should get more into baseball, but like I would assume that they're both predicted to win their divisions as well. I would
no.
assume no.
Well, I mean the Yanks are. I
Oh no,
mean
there's no
they're.
way the Mets are not favored to win NL East right now. There's no way.
Oh yes. Well, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they have the Braves.
Man, anybody worried about the
Last time
Braves?
I checked, I think the Braves were favorited in the East, not by much though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So let's see. They have ESPN has the Braves at a 96.5 win, like game win average, whereas the Mets are 91.
Okay, all right.
But they do have them as in a higher percentage of being champions at 14% versus the Mets 6. So, but that's not anything crazy, right?
Yeah.
With that being said, out of the East, I think personally, if the Mets stay healthy, it's likely going to be them. I think
Yeah.
there's an energy, even though a team loses in the NLCS, the run that they had, the energy carrying through to the offseason, and honestly, management going out and showing that what we did was great, but guess what? We're fucking going to be better next year and putting
Mhm.
truly their money where their mouth is. Um, and again, obviously, huge signing in Juan Soto, but making sure all the supporting cast stayed put too. What's
Yeah.
not to like about it?
I mean, essentially, they attacked the things that they needed to attack in the offseason, right? The
Yep.
Mets focused on the lineup. The Yankees focused on the pitching.
Yep.
Now,
And the replacing of Soto.
and replacing a Soto, but like even if you break it down, like I don't know, do you trust Max Fried in his health? Like, all right,
I mean,
let's
I
go through positions.
trust him as good as I can at this point, you know?
But all right, so like I just pulled up the rosters. Let's look at the rosters. Pete Alonso, I mean, I like Paul Goldschmidt, but I would probably take Pete Alonso there. I'd Gleyber Torres over McNeil.
Glaber, yeah.
Obviously, Francisco Lindor at shortstop.
Yeah.
Probably Mark Vientos over Cabrera. Um, Catcher, uh, to me, that's a toss up. I don't
Yeah.
know how you feel about Austin Wells, but Francisco Alvarez. The problem with Francisco Alvarez to me is he's sporadic. When he's hot, he's
Hmm.
meteor, like he's a meteor, and then he kind of disappears on you at some points. But
Hmm.
he always seems to come up when it matters. So I think I would give him the edge. But again, maybe I'm giving him the edge because of potential. I don't know, but and then right field, uh, Aaron Judge, obviously. I think he's
I mean, judge anywhere, whether they have him in right or center, whatever they want
yeah,
to do.
but I'm pitting him against Soto directly. Like I think
Hmm.
Aaron Judge is a better player, so I'm giving y'all the edge there. But because at center, you're going to have Cody Bellinger, right? Like that's probably, I mean,
Yeah, yep. I would guess and then move Judge over to right.
mhm, just to protect him a little bit, I
Yeah.
guess. And then I don't even know who the center. I don't even know who's playing center for the. I think it's Jose Siri now. And then Brandon Nimmo at left field's better than Dominguez. So, and then obviously you have Juan Carlo as your DH. So I mean,
Yeah.
I
And
like
potentially, I mean, like potentially outfield, but also like Jazz is a utility player too.
right.
So if he wants to stay at third grade, if they want to move him infield, outfield, he'll play as well. So I mean, I think the defensively for us, despite what we saw in Game 6 of the World Series,
Hmm.
or Game 5 in the World Series, I do think we have a sound defense. We really
Yeah.
do. But again, so do the Mets. So this
I'm
is the
just
great.
for me,
Yeah,
it's the pitching. Like like Kodai Senga's coming back. He's supposed to be our ace, but
yeah,
he's trying to bounce back from injury. Tyler McGill, I don't know. Clay Holmes, going from a reliever to a starter, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of question marks. Like, again, we focused on offense, and I think
Yeah.
we're just trying to, if we can just stay healthy at pitching, Edwin Diaz to me is still going to be the best closer in the game.
Mhm.
So stay healthy, stay away from World Baseball Classics, and you'll be okay. And, I don't know, but between you guys, it's Garrett Cole, who
Yep.
came off of a good year, and then Max Fried.
Mhm.
Let's see. And then after that, it's Carlos Rendon, Marcus Stroman. Like, it
Yeah.
gets a little. I don't know. The rest of them are question marks to
I
me.
mean,
So
Luis
like,
Gil too, but I mean, he just I think he just got injured too.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, look, well, that's the hope. It's
yeah,
such a long season though. And I mean, shit, halfway through, not even halfway. I think after 3 months of of last year, we were calling for Aaron Boone to be fired because the Yanks were just they were losing and we're like, what is
right.
going on? The Mets go through it every single year too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think obviously we'll look, we're going to cover baseball. We're going to go back and forth.
Yeah,
Anytime Juan Soto strikes out, I'm texting you about it. And
yeah. I bet.
but come July, like we usually
Mm-hmm.
do, is when
Mm-hmm.
we will really be able to see, all right, what do we need in this last push? What does it look like? And then sure as shit, I mean, August magic into September. So I'm just looking forward to it. I mean, look, we all get into that depression when football's over. And then, yes, we have hockey and basketball to fall back on. But what's better than two sports actively going on? Three.
Three.
And then soon
Yeah,
to be four in
yeah.
August again. So, or
Greatest time of the year.
actually not because I mean basketball and hockey will be done, but
Yeah.
come next fall, four.
No, I think.
So
But to say we. I think there's that in June, right?
yeah, we'll see playoffs in
Yeah.
June.
Right.
Yeah,
So we should get there's like a small window of all four going on.
yeah,
Um, the sports equinox as they call it, where we'll get everything in the same day. Like
yeah.
that's coming up here pretty shortly. So hopefully we're playing the long game with Marcus Stroman. Maybe he'll come to his senses and remember he's a Met and he'll his attitude will nuke the Yankee season. That's kind of what I'm hoping for.
Remember, he's a man.
Yeah,
Like
just
he
remember
sums like he's like the Manchurian candidate, like a sleeper cell where like
yeah,
it's an
yeah.
activation word, and he just like starts tanking immediately.
God, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
So, it's going to be a fun season for us. I know Mike and Corey are chomping at the bit to get back, whatever the terminology is, and they'll probably they're baseball nerds, so I'm sure
oh,
they'll get
God,
into it.
annoyingly
They'll get into
so.
it more, yeah. And they'll be forced to sprinkle in some Phillies
God.
talk, yuck, because of their
Yeah,
political connects.
I mean,
But hey,
it's also the type of like baseball fandom when they're like, "Oh, robot umps, you ruining the game
I
for
know they're
being
such
more accurate."
traditionalists.
Like,
Bring
God.
I can't say nothing because you're talking to the guy that wanted them to put ball pits in the outfield. So I can't, yeah, I can't. I just jazz it up. Like I don't know, just jazz up the game a little bit.
Yeah,
I am a fan of the pitch clock's been a success. I think
yeah,
a lot of the changes, and I'm all for robot umps. The
yep.
challenge thing is shaky because you can already see the defiance of the umpires
Hmm.
as they're testing it out in spring training. So I'm not a fan of challenging because of that. They should have just jumped straight to robot umps because yeah, it's just and you keep the line judges, the line umps, the first
Hmm.
base ump, they keep those guys, but strikes and balls are too pivotal. And like you said, these guys are in real time looking at like 3D models of tennis balls hitting the line or not. Like
Hmm.
it's there's no shame in embracing technology just because the only argument you have is traditionalism, right?
Yeah.
It's just we've always had umps here. Like that's not a good argument, man. Like
No.
it's
Yeah.
these games. This game is bigger than it used to be. These guys, this long are the days that the milkman came out and played for the Yankees, for $2 and a cigar. Like it's over now. Like this is a multi-billion-dollar business, and in any business you would embrace technology to make it more efficient to run better. You have to do it in
Especially
sports.
in sports when there's gambling attached to it and it's
100%.
making or losing individuals a lot of money.
Yeah.
So accuracy counts 10 times more.
Trust me, I know. I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, and if you watch that AFC title game, we could have used the benefit of some microchips in the footballs to mark first downs or not, because I think we're robbed a little bit. But
Yeah.
hey.